All right. Well, President Obama, after meeting with Afghan President Ashraf Ghani, announcing a slowdown in the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan. Is he trying to prevent a repeat of ISIS in Iraq? Here now, President and CEO of the National Center for Policy Analysis and Fox News contributor, Colonel Alan West. Pleasure to have you here with us.
Good to be with you, Kimberly.
And in person,
I was heartened to see Ghani's message yesterday. He gave a tribute to the taxpayer, to the families that fought and lost people, and said, we want America to stay. Change, and the president says, I'm going to keep them there. 9,800 to 2016. As a military guy, what does that mean to you?
Well, the most important thing is good to finally have a willing partner in the leadership of Afghanistan. Hamid Karzai was not that type of gentleman. But now we have to understand what's the task and purpose for those 9,600, whatever, to be there. Are they going to be able to meet the requirements? The enemy is still.
The requirements?
Well, that's the point. The enemy is still on the battlefield. So just because you come out with a unilateral declaration that we have ended combat operations, you know, they didn't get the memo.
Right, and it's not in direct response to what's happening with real-time intelligence in that very active theater. This is not an operation that should be winding down. It should have a significant presence. I question whether or not this amount of troops is even sufficient. Perhaps it should be even greater. And why can't we approach it?
And that's the issue. I mean, what is the objective? What is the goal of the enemy? We see this incredible spread of militant Islam that goes from Nigeria with Boko Haram all the way over to the Philippines with Abu Sayyaf and all points in between. So, you know, instead of decimating our military right now, folks don't realize that the Army is at pre-World War II levels, the Marine World War I levels, Navy at 1917 levels, the smallest, the oldest fleet that we have in the Air Force. The enemy is paying attention to that. So if you're leaving 9,600, first of all, you got to understand battlefield calculus. For every single trigger puller, combat soldier, it takes another 6.
Good point.
For logistical support.
Sure.
So that tells you really how
they
they're
have
going to have
325,000 in their security forces. That's a lot. How effective are they? What do your friends tell you about what's happening over there? Can they shoot? Do they know what they're doing? Are they trained?
Well, see, that's one of the things. Just because you have 325,000, are they going to be effective? You know, one of the great units that they have are the Afghan commandos. I would rather have a 20 to 30,000 committed force than to have 300,000. An elite force, and to have 300,000, you got to worry about them turning their guns on.
And they want $4 billion a year to sustain that force. And do you believe we're going to be totally out by the time the president is out?
No. You cannot have a timeline when you're looking at the enemy. You have to look at what is the enemy goals and objectives.
Right, and they have no timeline. Their timeline is patience at the plate, wait for it and undermine our capabilities, and let us impose timelines.
I spent 2.5 years in Afghanistan. This was their saying. You may have the watches, but we have the time.
Right. And I'll catch up to you longer on the radio.
All right.
Always great to see you in person.
Pleasure.
And a great job on out.